And you're looking at the RV that CBS Sports has been driving across the country since the start of the World Cup. Golazo match day coverage is led by Nico Cantor, an analyst for CBS Sports Golazo Network. Now, by midweek, Nico's going to have visited all 11 host cities in the U.S. in just 30 days. Nico, good morning. What a fun trip you've been on.
Cool.
And not to mention for the World Cup, which is incredible. But I got to ask you first about the big news that everybody's talking about here.
Yeah, definitely.
Flo is going to play tonight. I mean, the red card ban has now been lifted. With that, though, comes a lot more controversy, right? Because this came after President Donald Trump made this phone call to the FIFA president. So where does that put the U.S. when we're watching this game tonight? What is the feeling going to be watching that?
Yeah, Natalie, Gayle, Vlad, thank you so much for having me. Yes, you know, all this celebration now comes amid controversy for the United States. I think American fans and the U.S. men's national team would take Flo Balogun back, right? Originally, we all in the moment believed that it shouldn't have been a sending off. But there really aren't processes in place for the U.S. to appeal that red card. But FIFA is hanging on to an article in their disciplinary code that, in my opinion, wasn't put there for these types of things. And it's kind of just given them a blank slate to kind of just do as they wish.
Right.
It's not shocking because FIFA historically has done as they wish, but
the reputation for FIFA doesn't seem so great.
Yeah, and especially with decisions like these, right? Just it's unprecedented to the level that since yellow cards and red cards have been implemented at the World Cup, that's 1970 forward, this has never happened.
Because also you've got the political interference, which is the other sort of aspect of this, right? And I just want to point out the statement from UEFA, which is the European Football Federation.
Who have a little bit of beef
with FIFA.
They do. But I just want to point out what they say. Football is, when the certainty of rules is no longer guaranteed by its guardians, the integrity of the game is at stake and the credibility of competition is undermined. We express our disbelief at such an unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable decision.
Yeah, that's the European governing body who has historically been at odds, especially very recently with FIFA. These are now, we're talking about power plays, right? UEFA's looking to undermine FIFA, and now we're getting into the politics of it all. But it is a very unpopular decision.
But could the UK make a case for that red card in that match yesterday was absolutely warranted.
Deserved red card.
Deserved red card. But another player, another team could make a call to a political leader and say, hey, can you help us get out of this situation?
With the precedent that FIFA just set by giving Balogun the opportunity to play in this match, absolutely. And all the wrong calls, any national team can say, hey, if you did this for the U.S., why don't you do it for us, unfortunately.
Well, to be continued on that, but I want to talk about you in the bus. I think it's so great what you're doing. So you started it. What were you thinking? What were you trying to do? What was your premise?
So I wanted to discover the soccer culture of our country. I'm discovering my own country as I'm making my way. I started on the West Coast in LA. I worked my way up to San Fran, Seattle, cut across to Texas, hit the host cities in Texas, then went to Kansas City, Atlanta, Miami, and worked my way up to the East Coast. And now I'm here. And what I'm discovering is that the United States does have a very rich soccer culture.
Is that where you sleep?
That's where,
But what was
my bunk?
What were you hearing that people were thinking about the U.S. and what they discovered about the U.S.?
So first and foremost, I think a lot of foreigners, Europeans, South Americans, they say that we don't have a soccer culture. And what I'm discovering is that we do have a soccer culture. But then there's another aspect just about the United States. You know, I think there's a public perception abroad about our country, about the United States, just because of what they see in the news, what they see on the media, and it's not particularly positive. I think a lot of people thought it was unsafe here. There's a lot of hate, and from what I've seen is that a lot of people have arrived here and they found it a very hospitable country.
And they like us.
Yeah, and generous.
And our food. They like
our food, and not only that, people willing to get in on all of the craziness. I was in Kansas City, and I saw the Dutch March. I mean, we're making our way across the country in all of these.
I love seeing the inside of the bus, but we got to go. Thank you, Nico. Tune in to the free 24/7 CBS Sports Golazo Network.